Guatemala City bus plunges into river, killing over 55. A national tragedy unfolds. In a harrowing accident that has left the nation in shock, a passenger bus plunged from the Belice Bridge into the Las Vacas River ravine in Guatemala City, killing over 55 people and injuring many others. The tragedy occurred on February 10, 2025, when a commuter bus traveling from El Progreso lost control, broke through a guardrail, and fell into the deep gorge below. Witnesses described the moment as terrifying, with a loud crash echoing through the valley and the screams of passengers trapped inside. The impact was so severe that bodies were thrown from the vehicle, and debris was scattered across the polluted waters and rugged terrain. This devastating incident has become one of the deadliest road tragedies in Guatemala's modern history. Massive rescue operation. The scale of the rescue effort was enormous and immediate. Firefighters, Red Cross teams, Army personnel, and civil protection authorities rushed to the site as news of the crash spread. The scene was grim. Rescuers were forced to work waist-deep in contaminated water, navigating sharp metal fragments and overturned wreckage to locate survivors and retrieve bodies. Several rescue workers reported extreme difficulty due to the river's pollution, which contains untreated sewage and urban waste. Despite their heroic efforts, many of the victims were declared dead on the spot, while others succumbed to injuries after being rushed to hospitals such as San Juan de Dios. Volunteers and residents from nearby villages also joined in to help, forming a human chain to assist with body recovery. The emotional toll on both rescuers and families was immeasurable, as the community faced the haunting reality of a mourning commute that turned into a scene of mass death. Heartbreaking loss of everyday lives. Among the victims were daily wage workers, elderly passengers, and students who had boarded the early morning bus to attend school or reach workplaces. The majority of the deceased hailed from rural towns, where public transport is a lifeline and buses are often overcrowded. One especially heartbreaking case involved Catalina Perez, a tamale vendor, whose disabled son now mourns the loss of his only caregiver. Another was Julio Arrivalaga, a factory worker whose daily routine ended in unimaginable tragedy. Families gathered at a temporary morgue set up near the crash site, some weeping uncontrollably, others still hoping for a miracle. Coffins were seen lined up in local halls, and funerals began within hours of identification. The emotional grief radiating through these close-knit communities has been deeply felt across the nation. Government responds with mourning and promises. President Bernardo Arévalo responded swiftly, declaring 3 days of national mourning and sending condolences to the bereaved. Flags were lowered across the country as a sign of respect. In his statement, the president said, "The pain of the victims' families is the pain of the entire nation." He also ordered the deployment of army units and civil protection forces to assist in recovery and investigation. The tragedy prompted other government officials to call for urgent transportation reform. Lawmakers demanded a review of safety practices for public transport vehicles, especially long-distance buses that operate on mountainous terrain and aging infrastructure. Criticism also mounted over the condition of Puente Belice, one of the capital's busiest bridges, which many say lacks adequate safety features and maintenance despite its heavy traffic. Investigations point to multiple failures. An investigation was immediately launched into the cause of the crash. Early reports suggest multiple contributing factors. The bus was reportedly more than 30 years old, raising questions about its mechanical integrity. Authorities have revealed that the driver, Billy Anibal Foronda, was only 25 years old and held a personal, non-commercial license, not sufficient for transporting large groups of passengers. In addition, surveillance footage suggests the bus was traveling at high speed and may have struck other vehicles before careening off the bridge. Investigators are also examining whether the vehicle was overloaded, as witnesses claim it appeared packed with standing passengers. Alarmingly, a firearm was recovered from the crash site, sparking speculation about possible criminal activity or threats during the ride. Officials, however, have clarified that it may have belonged to a passenger and are continuing their inquiry into the matter. Toxic environment slows rescue operations. Environmental conditions surrounding the crash site further complicated rescue efforts. The Las Vacas River, into which the bus fell, is known for carrying untreated waste and stormwater runoff from the city. Rescuers described working in foul-smelling water filled with trash, which increased the risk of infection and slowed the process of accessing victims. The ravine's steep and rocky geography added to the challenge, forcing responders to use ropes and cranes to lift the wreckage and recover trapped bodies. Experts have criticized city planners for not addressing the health hazards of this waterway sooner, pointing out that it has long posed both an environmental and public safety threat. A pattern of preventable disasters. This tragedy is not the first of its kind in Guatemala. The country has a long history of fatal transport accidents. In 2013, a bus crash in San Martin Gilitpec killed 48 people. In 2008, a similar plunge near Villa Canales claimed 56 lives. Despite these incidents, little has changed in the regulation and maintenance of public transportation. Many buses are old, poorly inspected, and frequently overloaded. Drivers often work long hours for low pay and are under pressure to meet tight schedules, leading to reckless behavior and exhaustion. Mourning and moving forward. In the aftermath, communities are left to mourn, reflect, and rebuild. Makeshift memorials have sprung up near the bridge, with flowers, candles, and photos of the victims laid out by grieving relatives. Religious leaders have organized prayer vigils, and counseling services are being offered to survivors and families of the deceased. The tragedy has sparked national conversations around road safety, infrastructure investment, and the rights of low-income commuters who rely on dangerous public transport options. Final thoughts, a call for real change. In closing, the bus crash in Guatemala City is more than just an accident, it is a symbol of the country's urgent need to prioritize human life over outdated systems. As Guatemala buries its dead and its citizens search for answers, one truth becomes clear: this disaster must be a turning point. It is time for government officials, transportation authorities, and the public to unite in demanding safer roads, responsible oversight, and a transportation system that does not end in tragedy. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful real-life stories and breaking news coverage. Share your thoughts below. How can we make the skies safer? Hit the notification bell so you never miss an important update. Together, let's stay informed and honor the lives lost.